In general, how did you feel your defense performed for it being the first scrimmage of the preseason?
I thought our defense played fast. We missed way too many tackles. But I thought the communication and the volume of things that we tried to get done today, I thought we accomplished a lot of positives. We hit the rep count for all the people we want to hit the rep count for, but our tackling needs to improve.
Anything else for Coach Fuller? Okay, Brendan?
A couple of minutes ago, Coach Norvell mentioned Tatum Bethune specifically in his, his steady play throughout camp and since his arrived here. I guess, what did you see from him today specifically, and what has he kind of done for the linebacking corps since his arrival, Adam?
Yeah, he flashed today. I mean, his physicality on these days of scrimmages definitely show up. He's got, he's a really good player. He's mature, smart, has really good acceleration, has a good command of things. I love when he asks questions because he's very simple in his asking. It's not like he'll ask very direct questions. You give him one word, and you give him something that he can attach, something that he can assimilate it to, and he's got it. And it's fun for a coach because he'll ask a question. He'll say, "Well, Tate, it's like this." I don't understand. It's like this. Okay, perfect. I got it now. And you can really glue together his knowledge. And I love coaching guys like that, and he's been really good for us.
Matt Michelle with the Sentinel.
Adam, Coach Norvell said that the secondary's had a really good competition so far. What have you seen out of that group, of the defensive backs, and what stood out for you?
We're developing depth, which is great, but we want to establish unbelievable consistency at a high level. We want to compete for every single ball. We're going to play tight coverage. We're going to get bodies on bodies. We've got to be really connected in our pass-offs. We got to play with better leverage overall. But we're repping three groups, and we're playing 15 different guys, sometimes 16, 17, and so but that's what camp is about. It's about putting guys in situations, giving them reps. I think our safety's got to continue to take ownership of the defense just because of where they're aligned. I think we got to improve with that. But I do like the depth. I like the execution. We're putting a good amount on these guys' plates. We try to have a lot of same-as concepts, but we just got to stay a little bit more tighter in our connection with some of the pass-offs. But I thought our guys went out there, and I thought they competed, and I think they're trying to do the little things to gain an edge. So those are positive steps.
Chris?
Coach Norvell mentioned Sam McCall getting a takeaway there early in practice today. How has he continued to develop, and what is it that he needs to do to take the next step? A takeaway, Chris. I really respect the way you delivered that question. Much respect, my friend. That was a great play. I mean, it was on our sideline. I mean, that looked like a veteran play. I mean, the interceptions that Sam makes, I mean, they look like real plays. And, he high points balls. He's got great body control when he goes up. And probably as good of a play, it's not as impactful, but he made one tackle on our sideline on a ball that bounced. And, I mean, it was chest to chest. He ran his feet, so it was really good to see him have some real positive plays today. Excited about getting back to work with him tomorrow.
Aslan?
Hey, Coach, Tatum's sort of emergence, his presence, and Kalen's development, is that going to allow you to do something different this season, or will you just have more confidence in what you're calling because of those guys and how much better they are?
Oh, no, it can allow you to be more multiple. Even today there was a rep with Kalen that there's certain sets that you tell him to align in different ways based off of fronts and offensive identification sets. And Kalen was a little bit unsure, and he's lining up, and I'm trying to yell at him and try to get him his attention. And even though he just stuck to his base rules, but how he reacted based off his alignment was perfect. So he understands. Like I said, we're putting a lot on those guys, and they're handling. I think Randy's doing a nice job with those backers. They understand the total package, and especially those two got a lot of confidence in the way that room is developing. And it's one thing to get us lined up, get us in the right calls, take charge in the middle of the defense. But then we got to go have some production too, and guys that go get guys on the ground, make flash plays, just find ways to impact winning. And I think that position is coming along.
Gerald Wiley?
Talking to Coach Woodson earlier this week, he talked about obviously Azaria stood out again as he did in the spring, but he was excited to see how he handled pads and how he handled the scrimmage. I guess I know the film will tell more, but what did you see from him?
Zaria did some nice things. These freshmen that are able to graduate early have a leg up, and Zaria has definitely taken advantage of that time. These next couple weeks are still critical for him. He's getting a lot of snaps. He's got high standards for himself. He's mature. He's confident in coverage, and just got to keep taking steps with Azaria. But I am excited about where he's at in his development.
Austin?
Hey, Coach, hope you're doing well. Outside of Fabian Love and Robert Cooper, kind of like the second team, third team defensive tackles, what did you see from there today in the scrimmage?
Well, Austin, I am doing well. I appreciate you asking. I think Jarrett Jackson flashed today. He really showed up. He's been pushing through, and, I think he's got a really high ceiling. I think, with having Fabian and Coop ahead of him, it helps drive him, and, he shouldn't take a back seat to anybody. Malcolm Ray has continued to make strides. He had a lot of impact with us last year, and he's carried that momentum. Josh Farmer is somebody that, we redshirted last year because he had some development, had some injuries he had to get over, but he's got all the tools and he's got the right mindset. Odell's doing a really good job with him. And then we've got the young guys, and Daniel and Bishop, that continue to grow. Daniel's making some real good strides, and Bishop a little bit more up and down, but he definitely has some flash plays where you're glad he's here. But those positions are made to develop. You need those reps. You need that constant push and find ways that just making plays isn't really what it's all about. It's about doing the little things so that when you play against good players, technique wins. And Odell's the best in the business, and he keeps building that group.
Brendan?
When a player like Sam McCall has a performance like how he did today in a scrimmage setting, is that, as you kind of look at how guys are going to divvy up reps moving forward, does that earn more playing time? I guess does a scrimmage performance weigh a little bit more heavily than, say, just a standard practice in that sense?
I think you have more to evaluate. I think, just the body of work in a scrimmage, they play more plays consecutively. It's more real, right? It's not scripted. And so I don't know if it weighs more heavily. We are a very process-oriented coaching staff that, you do great things great for one day, but I want to see what you do over the course of time, because that's what usually lasts, and that's usually what you'll get, when it comes down to those winning moments. But for guys to step up big in scrimmages, I think that tells you something, and it's worth the investment of time because you know what's in there. And so, Sam had two really good plays tonight. What he did on all the other things, we got to kind of, coach him up on, but that one reception, that one crack replace tackle were really good plays by him.
Aswan?
Jarian and Greedy, can you assess their play, and also your thoughts on the addition of Malik Feaster to your guys' back end?
Yeah, J-Dub, he's playing as good a football as he's played since he's been here, and he's healthy. He's taken the coaching. You're seeing technique show up. And, that's a position now. Speed gets on you quick, and if you don't rely on your technique and believe in your technique, you end up being in a reactionary position. And, J-Dub's really done a good job. We've repped him some at nickel. I think giving him more of a role has helped him get better at his focus. And I think him being healthy is a big thing, too. Greedy, he's got some feistiness to him. He's got really good change of direction. Those two are definitely competing for roles, to help at nickel, but also at field corner. So, I think they're both doing some really good things, but, that's going to be a long process with that group. And, looking forward to working with both of them here in the corrections tomorrow.
Logan?
No, I didn't finish. He asked me three things. I didn't get to the Malik one. Do I get to go back?
Yeah, we'll go.
Aslan, I didn't cut you off, but you did ask three, like, there's a lot of questions in the one question.
You can keep answering it.
Okay, I don't see them.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Aslan's somebody I like to see when I talk to.
Feelings mutual, Coach.
Yeah, there you are. There you are. You're looking great. Looking great. Yep. Malik got here. We're still getting. He's here, but he's got a. There's a lot of paperwork. I mean, that happened really fast, and so really haven't had him out on the field much. But intelligent young man, and with what we know of each other at this point, he seems like he's going to get along with this football team, and there's just a lot of work to do with him still yet.
Logan Robinson.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're having a good evening. What are your thoughts on Jared Burris? You get a true first ball scrimmage with him. Coach Norvell told me he had a few flashes, and he also sets the tone for a lot of fall camp for the defense. What were your thoughts tonight on Jared Burris? Yeah,
I mean, Jared's still trying to find, I don't want to say his place on the defense, but, his personality is, he's obviously a very confident young man. And his physical skills are really there. We got to continue to work on his technique, not his pace of play, because he plays extremely fast, but pace of play sometimes is when you can play fast, when you can react to blocks, when you should work different techniques. And JP's doing a really good job with that position. That's been a really strong position for us, and Jared's going to help us play good defense this year. It's just, we can't rep him enough right now. I think putting him in the different situations, different calls, different reactions that he's going to get from the offense, he was definitely something that we wanted to get out on that field for a good set and try to get him a maximum number of reps. And excited to look at that tape tonight for him. He's definitely somebody I'm looking forward to putting some bullet points down for to help continue to him grow, because he wants to be the best, and we want to help him do that.
Matt, you got the last one?
Okay. Adam, I want to ask, what kind of identity do you want this defense to take on going into the season, and how have you seen these guys maybe start to build up to that kind of feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I want everything we do to be done with great pace, with how we teach, to how we learn, to how we communicate. I think the ability to, play fast, react fast, respond quickly, those are all things that we want to make sure that we have. We need to play smart, whether that's penalty-free, whether it's with adjustments, whether that's playing together, whether it's with rotations. I think we've got to be a step ahead of our opponent by knowing ourselves great. And then, we got to play with a great toughness. And I think, toughness shows up in different ways. Toughness shows up in red zone defense. Toughness shows up in tackling. Toughness shows up in us being that process-driven defense where, whether it's this scrimmage or how we show up tomorrow and how we take the coaching or, how we take some of the success that happened tonight, whatever all that is, we've got a long ways to go. And, we've got high expectations here. This is Florida State. And, to play defense here, we want to raise the bar of where we have been. We've got a long way to go. But I do like the people that we have in that room. And, they're driven. And, people, it's important for us to help this football team win football games. And we got to keep points off the board. We got to be physical in all aspects. And, I just want us to be able to step up when this team needs us consistently throughout the year, whatever that takes.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Hope everybody has a good evening.